All right, it's time for the week 5 recap. So we're about a third of the way through the regular season at this point. Actually, we're a little over a third of the way through 5 out of 14. Not the most amazing week of NFL action. Not too much notable uh, that happened. So anyway, week 5 headline. This wasn't as simple as previous iterations, but I think you got to give a shout out to the tight end position. I think that the tight end position's been a known dumpster fire this year, but this week it was great. 4 guys over 20 points. What do we have? 8 over 15. I mean, that's damn good. And you love to see that the big names perform too. Kittle finally having that huge game. He had one of his few blowups of the year. 3 touchdowns on 3 catches for Kittle. Dallas Goedert, welcome to the season. He had scored, what do we have? About 22, 23 points combined through 4 weeks. He had 25.7 this week alone, and it was early and often with him. That first drive by Philadelphia was all Dallas Goedert. Very good to see him get going. Travis Kelce got injured, came back, scored. Sam Laporta continues his mastery of the NFL as a rookie. He's the tight end 1 right now. And then Kyle Pitts finally did something. Mark Andrews, 12.5, and he dropped a touchdown. If he hauled that in, it would have been a great week. So, and Darren Waller, too, another guy who we had seen nothing from, having a damn good game. So, really nice to see the tight end position finally show something, and maybe it'll continue into the coming weeks. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I know I'm sick of the tight end being just a joke. It's nice when this happens. We do have a guest who's going to come on, but he's not available at this exact moment. He'll join at some point. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But the good news about him being late is this thing's not going to go 2 hours now. So that's nice, isn't it? Yeah. All right, matchup breakdown. A little bit low energy from me here. Maybe I'll get going at some point. Or maybe I'll just stay downtrodden like this. I don't know. Well, you gotta start with you know what? I wanna wait for the see, this is where the guest and not knowing when he's gonna be here impacts things. I would have started with a certain matchup, but I think I'm gonna hold off on that. And I'm gonna go instead to Peter versus Colin. That's where we're gonna start. Peter 120.54 over Colin 98.78. Pretty unremarkable matchup. That's why I'm starting here. Matchup MVP, without a doubt, the breakout game for Breece Hall. 28.4 points from him. He carved up that just disgraceful Denver defense. Good alliteration there, by the way. DDD, disgraceful Denver defense. 22 carries, 177 yards, another 3 catches as well. He had a touchdown. It was a breakaway one. So Breece Hall, that's encouraging if you're Peter, because that's been a black hole, that running back 2 spot. Hall was great here in week 5. Travis Kelce, 10 catches, a touchdown. He survived a non-contact injury scare. When you end up with one of those non-contacts, you're kind of thinking like, oh shit, this might be a knee, this might be an Achilles, this might be something catastrophic. It ends up being nothing. Maybe he'll miss Thursday on a short week against the weak Broncos. We will see. Peter has to be happy. Travis Kelce, he missed week 1, and he's already up to tight end 2 on the season despite that. Not a ton else. Kirk Cousins, good bounce back game still. Peter again. I know he's kicking himself. He made the wrong start sit decision at QB again. Fields went off on the bench. But you got to be happy. I mean, if you're Peter, you went 2-0 this week. And Justin Fields had a second consecutive good performance. He's gone over 30 the last 2 weeks. Amazingly, he's up to the quarterback 5. It's not updated to, I don't know if Jordan Love is going to top him. I don't know. I feel like he did nothing. I don't know how close the points were. Coming into tonight, Fields was the quarterback 5, which is incredible because just a couple weeks back, it felt like he could do nothing right, but now he's had 2 good games in a row, albeit against kind of iffy defenses. Not kind of iffy. Denver is trash. The disgraceful Denver defense, I get to say that again. And Washington, who is really a disappointment outside of a couple of guys along that defensive line. We'll see what happens with Fields when he starts playing good teams again. He does get another weak defense, shit defense in Minnesota upcoming. But yeah, rest of the team not great for Peter. Tony Pollard, this is annoying, I feel like at this point, because every game has either been Dallas blows out their opponent and they don't need to use Pollard for those reasons, or you had something like this and the game against Arizona as well, where Pollard got game scripted a little bit out of the late stages. The last 2 weeks, Pollard just 19 carries combined. And he only had 14 carries in week 1, and it's because all 3 of those games were blowouts. This is back-to-back weeks in single digits for Pollard. And I think if you're Peter, you just have to stay patient. He only has 2 touchdowns. That should change. But it's annoying, I would imagine, because through 3 weeks, Pollard was looking fantastic, and now he's hit a bit of a roadblock because of the team situation. He also had a fumble. I'll give him some blame. He fumbled on Sunday night. Wide receivers were not good. McLaurin, Michael Pittman. They didn't sink Pete's team, and they were just merely meh. So yeah, I mean, this was just kind of one of those weeks where nothing incredible, nothing awful. And so he ends up with 120 points. He goes 2-0. You got to be pretty happy with that. 6-4, he's currently leading his division. Other side of the matchup, Colin, his just horrendous season continues. He is now the only person who has yet to win a second matchup. He's been in the bottom 6 of scoring all 5 weeks this year. He's scored 100.98 or less 4 times. He's been between 97 and 101 4 out of the 5 weeks. So just consistently bad. And I don't think this is a bad roster. I think it's just a bunch of guys underperforming. Dameon Pierce, CeeDee Lamb way underperforming at the wide receiver 16 coming into the night. Garrett Wilson, it is what it is. We knew Zach Wilson was going to ruin him. He's the wide receiver 26. Yeah, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs was out this week. Jerome Ford on bye. I don't really know what to say. A couple of bad start-sit decisions for the second consecutive week. Cole Kmet played well. He's kind of obviously been tied to Fields playing well, has led to Kmet producing for fantasy. And for the second straight week, Colin lost some points by going with Ferguson over Kmet. That alone wouldn't have changed anything for him on the week. However, if he had started both Kmet and the San Francisco defense over Detroit, if he had gone with both of those, he would have gone 2-0 this week. I don't blame him for starting Detroit against Carolina. I don't consider that a horrible sit of San Francisco, but it's worth noting that he could have gone 2-0. Tua was solid, 20 points, but then, yeah, just the rest of the team, not much to say. Christian Kirk did what he's been doing. He's up to the wide receiver 19 now. He's had between 14.4 and 16.4 the last three. Just very solid, consistent PPR flex right now. And yeah, I mean, at this point, the running backs are a real issue. Dameon Pierce, RB24. Jahmyr Gibbs, disappointing RB32. And you got to hope, if you're calling, that one of those two gets going and that they can pair with Jerome Ford and create a decent backfield. But there's just nothing here right now. It's been a really disappointing season. He's 1-9. He's in last place. He's lowest in points scored. It's been tough. I don't think this team is as bad as it's been, but it's hard to argue that anyone else has a worse team than him, too. It really is. It's just, it's a quality league, and it doesn't take much to be the worst team, especially when there haven't been a ton of catastrophic injuries yet. Yeah, there's been guys who've missed some time, but as far as like season-ending, team-devastating injuries, there haven't been all that many. Really, Nick Chubb comes to mind, but that's about it. Maybe there's another. I'm not fully there right now for whatever reason. It's not even that late. It's only 12:15. I have no excuse. Maybe I'm just maybe I'm weak. Maybe I'm weak these days. I'm shot. I'm washed. Something wrong with me. But now we're gonna bring in our guest, because we're gonna get into another matchup here now. Krieger has to connect to the audio. Krieger is the guest. And you know what I said it was going to be him. That was my prediction. I knew it was going to end up being him. He's the old reliable. How are you doing?
I'm terrific. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine.
I'm sorry
fine.
I'm late.
No, hey, you missed one matchup. I ended up.
I'm liking this dog.
Yeah, I thought I liked. I think it's better than it just saying my name.
I agree.
Yeah,
thoroughly enjoying this.
Yeah, there are some different things. I learned that you could do some different things with this software, so I'm going to be toying around with it in the coming weeks.
Awesome. Can't wait to see.
Yeah.
What have you gotten into so far? I don't know how late I am.
I started it a little bit later than I told you I was going to, because I was messing around with Zoom, and so we only did one matchup, Peter Collin, because I chose that one because I thought it was like the most boring matchup basically, and there wasn't a ton to say about it.
Okay. Got that
So
out of the
now,
way.
yeah, now we're going to get right into it. We're going to get right into the best matchup of the week. And that was the top scoring team against the third highest scoring team. Larar 172.02, highest scoring team of the week, taking down Nordiff 147.46. And I can't believe what's going on with Larar's team. He's 5-1 over the last 3 weeks. I had put him in the grave. I had said he was dead when he was 0-4. And he got those couple of big defense and special teams performances that helped him stay afloat. And now here we go. He's got his full team back now. And he's 5-5, and he's a legitimate threat at this point. I still think there are issues, but 5-5, he's only a game out of his divisional lead, and he somehow survived being without Kamara and Taylor for the first part of the season.
Yeah, it's unreal. Unreal.
It is. Hey, we'll give him credit. He was committed to what he wanted to do, and maybe it'll work out. I still don't think this is a playoff team, but he sure as hell isn't dead like I thought he was. I mean, that was a just completely incorrect assessment. But And let's get into this. Jamar Chase, obviously, what are we doing here? Matchup MVP, weekly MVP, 15 for 192 and 3. That's that's awesome. And it's been a year of massive performances like this. Chase adding one. They finally just decided with T. Higgins out, we're just going to go to Chase every time, and it was really a nice thing to see. He's up to the wide receiver 5 on the season now.
He's looking good.
Hey, he's a good player. He just needs to get the ball thrown to him accurately. Joe Mixon was Kamara was good. Kamara 18.7. I guess he's going to work out, which I'm blown away by because he sucked last year. But if they're going to give him 25 touches a game, he's gotten 24 and 25 touches each of the last 2 weeks. If they're going to do that, he's going to be really good.
I don't know when Jamal Williams will be back. I don't know if he'll play a factor, but that would be the only concern.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Jamal Williams being like goal line vulture. But
yeah, now that I'm really looking at Lara's team, I like his team.
I like his team. I like his team outside of quarterback and tight end, and those spots were great this week. Goff and Dalton Schultz combined for like 50 points, but the Goff Watson thing, that's not reliable at the quarterback position, and Schultz, he hasn't been very good. He scored this week. He scored the last 2 weeks, but you can't really trust him. And interestingly, Kyle Pitts was really good on the bench. I said that in the headline at the beginning of this. Like Kyle Pitts actually showed signs of life. That would be huge. That's kind of an X factor for Lerar, but I don't know. The Jacoby Myers development is really good for his team. Myers has gone 15.5 points or more in 3 of his 4 games played. He kind of needed a wide receiver too, and he's got one in Jacoby Myers. And then it's just going to be a matter of, I think the big remaining question is what's it going to be like with Jonathan Taylor? He played 15, I think, percent of snaps yesterday. It's actually 2 days ago now because it's become Tuesday. Played 15% of snaps. Zach Moss is killing it.
He's on the market, people. He is on the market. He's available.
There you go.
Out there.
Hey, everybody, what's he like, the running back 5 on the season? You could listen.
He's on top 10. He's filthy. I think he'll have like 40% of the carries. Once
he's not gonna go away. There is no way that he's just gonna die with the way he's playing, and they have no reason to rush Taylor into a heavy workload. So I don't know what the plan is, but Zach Moss playing well certainly throws a wrench in Taylor coming back and just being the guy like he was the last couple of years. There's going to be a split. We'll just see. It's going to be interesting to see what that split will be. But I do think that Anthony Richardson going down benefits both Taylor and Moss.
100%.
Higher likelihood of rushing touchdowns that don't get stolen by Richardson, higher likelihood of check downs as opposed to, having Richardson who would just take off with his legs. So
did it come out? What happened to him? I didn't see.
He sprained the AC joint in his shoulder, but it's a pretty significant it's a grade 3.
If Derek Carr could do it, he could do it.
No, that's the issue. He ended up with a grade 3, and he's probably going to go on IR. and the expectation is that he's going to miss at least a month. So Richardson's going to be gone for a bit. I believe they need to confirm that still, but the expectation is that it's a grade 3 AC and that he's going to miss a decent bit. So anyway, yeah, Lerar, this was a great week. What a weird season he's had. He's basically been either amazing or awful in each week. There's no consistency.
Does he have 250-point showings?
Two 150 plus, and then 3 105 or less.
And 2 of them were under 80, correct?
No, he was gonna have an under 80, but then the Seahawks defense went for 30 last week.
Oh.
He was projected going into that to score like 75. And then defense special teams, which Lerar hates, saved him. It saved him twice so far this season. So you gotta be happy for him. Yeah, you gotta be happy for the guy. Yeah, I don't really know what to say because I don't understand what's happening, but he weathered that rough stretch. I thought he was gonna. I'll be completely honest. I thought he was gonna start like 1-7, being 3-5 instead. Now you get your guys back. Some things are starting to click. You got a steal in Jacoby Myers. Like, it's kind of working out, but still, quarterback, tight end lead me to believe he might I think he's going to end up just barely on the outside of the playoffs, but I've been wrong about him before. So other side, Nordiff's been really, really incredibly consistent so far this year. He is the only person who's 5-0 in the second matchup. What are his scores on the year? 128, 118, 179, 114, 147. So no weeks below 114. Couple of big weeks in there. And he did it this week with Lamar Jackson having a poor fantasy game. Lamar Jackson really got screwed by his receivers, and then Lamar also imploded at the end of the game. But Lamar had back-to-back passes dropped in the end zone that would have changed his day in a big way. Regardless, it wasn't going to impact this matchup. You get 3 massive performances if you're Nordiff. Travis Etienne ran all over Buffalo. Tyreek Hill ran all. That was shocking. That really was shocking because he had not been good for the majority of this season. And then he goes off like that, and now he's the running back 4. It's the running back position is
horrible.
It really is. It's been a bad year so far. Tyreek Hill ran all over the Giants. He's the wide receiver 1. Just unbelievable what he's doing. And with Jefferson likely to miss, yeah, Hill's the guy to have right now at the position, at least for the next week or so. Adam Thielen, what is going on?
Who dropped him? Sam?
Yes. Yeah, imagine if Sam had him.
I don't know. It's
be disgusting.
Could potentially go down as worst drop of the year.
It legitimately could, which is insane. Thielen, 900 years old, he comes out, puts up 3.2 in week 1. At that point, I think almost everyone is thinking, well, he's just washed. That offense is a joke. And here we go. Since then, 15.2, all 4 weeks, 20 or more in 3 of those 4. It's unreal. He's the only thing they have. So, I mean, I think that he's a lock to at least be a very good flex. And, if he has the upside of doing this, it's just a great guy to have.
Yeah.
Got to give Nordiff a shout out too for picking up Jaleel McLaughlin.
I'm in 2 leagues with them, maybe 3. In the one league, he drafted Jaleel McLaughlin.
What?
And I said, I don't know who the fuck that is. Don't know
That's
why. Like they signed Samaje Perine, like they
yeah,
have
that's
Javante.
wild.
Don't know. So he ended up dropping him and picking him back up, but he knew about Jaleel McLaughlin before anybody. I give him props for that.
He must have read
But,
about him somewhere.
but yeah, Nordo's team is nice, other than his bench, really in running back position.
I know, but now you know, you have Thielen, so he goes 4 deep at wide receiver,
Yeah,
which is
he's
perfectly fine. Yeah, the third running back spot, and Jaleel had this big game, but we know that once Javante gets healthy, that's at best going to be a 60-40. I don't think Jaleel goes away, not with
and
the
that's
way he's looked.
and Samaje is still there.
Yeah, exactly. And the offense isn't good enough, so he's going to be hard to use unless he's some. Look, Javante Williams, let's be honest, he hasn't looked very good. So is it impossible that he gets supplanted? No. I'd be really surprised. Uh, and unless you have the number one role, the lead role, it's going to be hard to ever start him. But, I think it's a good guy to have just in case. I feel like he's kind of like Zach Moss at this point, where and just keep him and see what happens. But
Yeah,
Dallas Goedert, Nordiff decides to bench him. Don't blame him at all for that. Goddard had done nothing, and then he came out first drive, caught like 4 passes, one for a touchdown, had a monstrous game. So that's great to see if you're Nordiff, just that commitment to get him involved. Devontae Smith did nothing, and that's not going to happen probably
ever again. Maybe
many.
like 2 more games.
Yeah, he might have 2 more down games. Maybe AJ Brown has a couple of down games, but for the most part, when those two guys are both on, it's just tough for Goddard. But hey, take these big games when you could get them. Unfortunately, like I said, it was on the bench. Yeah, James Cook was awful. The Bills were largely awful. I know that Allen, Diggs, and Gabe Davis ended up with big fantasy outputs, but the Bills' offense was terrible. 5 carries for -4 yards for James Cook.
I think
Hey, just
overall for the Bills in general, I think they only had 24 rushing yards on the game.
yeah, well, I mean, that would make sense because they were
Which is like,
chasing most of the second half.
I think that's the fewest ever in the NFL I saw in a
Looks like,
game.
is that right?
I believe that popped up on ESPN when I had that Raiders game on
Looks
at
like
halftime.
they 27 33. They had 29 yards rushing.
I think, yeah,
That's what the box score shows. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of hard to believe, but they weren't running the ball. They ran the ball 14 times. So, yeah, I mean, what can you really say? Just try to move on, and James Cook, he'll obviously be better than this, but I mean, Nordiff's team's good. Like, there's solid team, and he's got ceiling guys, he's got floor guys. I like what he's got. Especially the Thielen thing is huge because he had a bit of a hole at flex. Godwin had been underwhelming a bit. Yeah, Thielen's a big deal.
yeah.
So right now, that's a hell of an ad. All right, we'll move along. Uh, yeah, let's go to Sam Lohan. Sam 152.43 defeats Lohan 116.37. Matchup MVP. Saints defense and special teams, 24.88. New England is unwatchable.
It's horrible.
They are.
I'm hoping for Bailey Zappi to take over.
I think it's time, and I don't even think he's going to be anything better. The big issue there are a few issues in New England. One, you have no offensive line. Two, you have no pass catchers. Three, you have no quarterback. And four, you have an old, stubborn fuck of a head coach who thinks he can still get away with his old shit. And so, yeah, I mean, there's nothing good going on there. And the Saints defense was the beneficiary this week. Sam's had them all year, and they are the third-ranked defense. They've scored 9.78 or more 4 times. And their schedule does not really get hard at any point. Like Houston, Jacksonville, Indianapolis upcoming. Okay, all of those are decent offenses. Chicago, Minnesota, Atlanta. You know, ending the year, Carolina, the Giants, the Rams. The Saints' schedule is really soft this year. But, you know, some other huge performances on Sam's team here, right? Josh Allen he's up to the quarterback one on the season now. He's just doing what he does. He is, even when he's not good for real life, he still finds a way to be good for fantasy. And
he's got those legs.
Yeah. And he's like their whole offense. Like, it's almost impossible. It's crazy. He had that awful week 1 showing. What he did that night is almost impossible for him to do, only scoring 1 touchdown. He had 3 here this week. And so much of this came in the second half. You know, George Pickens had that clutch touchdown late.
I didn't even know he put up 26.
Yeah, George Pickens has been exactly what I think almost everyone thought he would be. He's a great boomer bust flex. He's the wide receiver 13 on the season. He's had the 3 games 11.5 or worse, but he's had the 2 boom games of 22.5 or more. So, yeah, Pickens is what he is. You plug him in, and you know that you got a chance of one of these monster showings. And how about on the bench, Gabe Davis? He has scored in 4 straight games. He's been damn good. I think he's the same type of thing, boom or bust, but it's been really consistent lately.
Yeah, he's been very consistent, but I just don't think I would be able to start him with confidence.
Agreed.
Diggs just owns that receiver position for them. Yeah, no, I would only play him if I had to, but he's been good.
Well, I think when it's your flex spot and when you have a good team like Sam does, you put someone like Davis in the flex, and yeah, I might get like 5, and that would suck, but I also could survive it if I do, and the upside is you get 20 to 25 out of him. But Sam's going to be without Jefferson this week, almost certainly. Pickens is on bye, so he has to start Gabe Davis this week. Jalen Waddle got into the end zone. You like to see that if you're Sam. Still only the 5 catches, so he's yet to go over 5 receptions any game this year. Sam Laporta, this is amazing.
What is he, tight end 3?
Tight end 1.
Tight end 1.
Tight end 1.
That's wild.
Yeah, his floor so far has been 9 points. And he had a very similar game to Kittle this week. He just had 1 less touchdown. 3 receptions for 2 touchdowns for Laporta, 3 for 3 scores for Kittle. But yeah, for Laporta, I mean, when you get a tight end like this off waivers, that's just remarkable. And if we redrafted right now, man, where would he go? Like third round?
I would say like probably where Kittle went, like
I,
fifth,
I
sixth.
I really think I don't really agree. I think he would go a decent bit higher just because you're getting I, maybe you don't believe in him to continue this. I do, simply because he's the Lions' number 2 receiver. Do you think that Jamison Williams is going to eventually take away from him?
No, not by any means. But I thought he had more catches. I didn't know it was 3 catches. I
Yeah,
know he
that's
had, but I don't know.
part of
Jameson
that.
Williams. I hope Jameson Williams becomes like 8 targets a game, like 3 catches, 2 of them deep shots.
Mhm.
Like that's what I see for him. But from what I saw of that Lions game, they gave him like a screen pass. Yeah, I think he had 2 screen passes and he got like 4 yards or something.
Yeah, he went 2 for 2. You can't take much away from his first game back, and especially in a blowout where they didn't
Yeah,
really have to do anything in the second half.
yeah. But
Josh
yeah, no.
Jacobs scored again. How are you feeling about the Josh Jacobs trade right now?
Um, I'm happy. Happy that he won that game. I had a lot of money riding on that game,
Okay,
so I
I'm
needed
happy
him
for
to
you.
score. Uh, yeah, that was a sweat at the end. Daniel Carlson, he sucks.
Yeah, what happened to that guy?
I don't
Jesus.
even. I wish they went for it on 4th down to just end the game. That's what I was hoping for, like a Garoppolo QB sneak.
Well, McDaniels is an idiot. I can't believe he didn't go for it there. That's moronic.
Yeah, so
Even if you
but who
made the
knows?
field goal.
Also, I believe I won the pick 'em, so I think we're tied. We're tied at the for the 1 spot now.
Yeah, it's annoying. I was gonna switch to Vegas, and then I just actually I thought I had picked Vegas. And then when Aaron Jones got ruled out, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take Vegas. And then I just didn't because I'm a fucking joke and pathetic human being. Kyron Williams down week.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
Eagles defense, I benched
yeah.
him in the leagues that I have him in.
Are you kidding? Who did
I'm
you
not.
have that you could bench him?
Uh, like,
We're not getting into
it
this.
doesn't even matter.
I'm not
I
making
don't.
this a super long thing. Yeah,
David Montgomery, I
okay,
think.
yeah, Mike. All right, that's fair. Whatever. But yeah, Eagles defense, really tough matchup. The only thing I'd watch for with Kyron, I've said on here a million times, he hasn't been efficient, so he's very touchdowns are really important to him, and also the targets. Those are down the last 2 weeks. 5 combined targets the last 2 weeks. Does Cooper Kupp coming back take targets away from him? Probably. But Kyron Williams is still going to be very good. He might not be incredible like he had been.
He could definitely be putting up 12 to 15 points a week. So
Yeah, and when you're Sam and you draft him in like the fucking 15th round and you have all the stars that he has, you don't really need Kyron Williams to do more than just present a solid floor. And with his volume, he's going to.
yeah, I don't know what's the deal with the Ronnie Rivers. I saw that Sam did pick him up, but I have
Well,
noticed that he's been on the field more rather than the
yeah,
first couple weeks.
yeah. The snap share is still pretty overwhelming. But yeah, I mean, it's not, like for a bit there, it was like Williams was 100. He was on the field the whole game. Now it's more like 80-20. So I think that's a good thing, actually, if you're a Kyron Williams owner, because, you know,
He will eventually get hurt.
yes, exactly. You want some breather for your guy. And actually, when we get to you, similar thing with McCaffrey. Like they got to relax a little bit with McCaffrey. Fortunately, last night they were able to, get Mason in there in garbage time. But like they got to fucking relax with him. There's no need to have him in every single snap. But
Yeah.
Sam, 152 points on a week where Jefferson was bad and got injured, and kind of shows you where this team is at right now. To be able to not only overcome but still excel in spite of that is a big deal. Losing side is Lohan, and Lohan he's in a little bit of trouble now. He's 5-5. He's definitely trending downward. He's outside of the top 6 now in the standings. He needs Barkley back so badly.
Now Connor's gone.
Yeah, that they're still waiting on what that's going to be, but he's going to miss some time. It might be a couple of weeks, especially with his injury history. Who knows what could go on there? But yeah, he needs Barkley back. He really should be back. I just want to point out Brian Dable, a couple weeks back when he said that Barkley had a chance of playing in that Thursday night game against San Francisco. That's just such classic nonsense out of a head coach. There was no chance a guy who suffered a high ankle sprain was going to come back within 4 days. And now here we are. He's missed 2 additional games. Anyway, Calvin Ridley was good. I've been shitting on Calvin Ridley.
First good game, week 1.
First good game since the first half of week 1. Yeah. He had the 8 targets. I don't trust him because Christian Kirk he seems like Lawrence's safety valve.
100%.
Like Ridley is good, and so he's going to get his. But my whole thing with Ridley is I would not have drafted him where Lohan did, and I stand by that.
I don't blame him. I know on draft night I said if you could get Ridley where Lohan took him, I would have traded you Olave.
Yeah, you were in on Ridley.
So I'm a believer in Ridley, but Trevor Lawrence has been horrible. I don't know what happened to him, but he's like last year was so good, and
it's odd.
Now he looks scared.
Yeah, and maybe it's just an early season slump. Some guys start slow, so give him a little bit more time. Jaylen Warren's just been really solid. He's a guy I wanted. And there's nothing special about it, but to be able to have that you could plug into your running back 2 spot, and he's just been like a safe, 8 to 12 points. He's done that in 4 of his 5 games, gone between 8.2 and 12.6. That's just a real nice thing to have, especially with the injuries Lohan's been dealing with. Really a good low-end running back, too. TJ Hawkinson, I might have already said this. He was another down game. The touchdowns aren't there for him. He only has the 2, and they came on the same night. Christian Watson, man, this could have been a monstrous night. He ends up 3 for 91, but they almost hooked up on a couple of other deep shots.
He was going to get in the end zone, but then the Raiders force-collared him and took him down and saved them from scoring.
Yeah, it's true.
So Lohan would have an extra 7 points.
Yeah, and then like I said, there were those other deep shots that they only missed on by a little bit. I think if you're Lohan, you got to be really who knows if he was watching the game. I wouldn't blame him if he wasn't, because that was just terrible matchup and a terrible game.
It was horrible to watch. I only watched the second.
If he was watching, you'd be real happy seeing those deep shots, because that's what Watson was last year. That's what's fucking valuable about a guy like him. And they're going to hook up on some of those. They did on one tonight. went 70 yards and was nearly a touchdown, like Krieger said. But encouraging second game for Watson. Lohan's bench is pretty awful
As I would say, worst bench in the league.
at this point.
Like the only person
Probably.
it would be Jalen Warren or Elijah Moore. Those would be the only two people I would feel like not even confident.
Yeah, Elijah Moore, I
Confident.
would not want to start.
I wouldn't want to start him, but like he's had 9 targets in I think 2 games.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. He could Wandale Robinson his way to a 10-point showing. Uh, Dalvin Cook, drop him, get him off. He shouldn't be on a team. Get
what
rid
is
of him.
that? 2 points? Yeah,
Look what he's
he's
done. He's done. He's awful.
he's actually only put up less points each and every week since week 1.
That's not true.
Nine.
He had .2 in week 2.
He has 0.2 in week 2.
But yeah, it's gone down since then. So next week he's going to score like 1.4 if that trend continues. Yeah, I don't know.
His
It's just
his team's 100% going in the wrong direction. He needs another running back. I would suggest Zach Moss. So I don't know. He's
hey,
got to make a
you
move.
hit him up,
Or
hit him up.
I did.
Contact.
He's not interested. That was a little light shot at him. He'll understand it, but
Okay, you guys had a good back and forth, very productive, I'm sure.
not productive whatsoever. But
Yeah,
he's. I'll see him in the
part of it.
losers bracket.
Yeah, you guys might be like the 8-9 matchup.
I think I beat him to send him to the losers championship last year to face Dylan.
That's good. Good times, good memories for you, I'm sure.
Yeah,
One
rivalry.
one thing of note, Brock Purdy, quarterback 6. Like that's becoming a trade chip for a quarterback needy team.
He's been good. I'm really shocked by it how they struck gold on him because I didn't think he was
It's
anything special last year.
it's amazing. I mean, it's not, let's be realistic. Like a big part of it is the scheme and the talent around him, but hey, somebody's still got to throw the ball and make those decisions, and
He's
he's
taking
doing a
shots. He's taking shots downfield.
he
Like
is,
it's not just like the dip, think and dunk.
and he does not make bad mistakes. He's really smart with the ball. Like he's a fun guy to watch. Um, they're really fun to watch. They're awesome. That team at this point, it's just incredible. This needs to be their year. They need to get it done this year.
If they don't, it's horrible. But they
But
definitely.
that's
I think if McCaffrey goes down, like they have no shot.
well,
But
that
they
would be
definitely
awful.
should.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, no, they're good. I thought that was going to be a close game. We'll get
I
into
did
that
not.
stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so we got what are we through? We're through 3 of these fucking. Yeah. All right.
Let's go, Andrew. Andrew
Yep.
Horv.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, Big Andy. No more
Man,
winless record. 125.13 to 113.04. Andrew. The streak is over. You can stop feeling bad for yourself, which I'm sure he still does. 2 wins in the same week. Andrew now 2-8.
he's not dead
And
yet. Not dead yet.
he's not fully dead yet. He's very close. He's got to keep rattling off 2-0 weeks, but it's got to feel good to do something. Joe Burrow, hey, I'll give him credit. I will give the man credit right here. I've been saying not to start him. I was right for several weeks. I would not have started him this week, and this week I would have been wrong to do it. So Andrew stuck with him, and this week it worked out. And Burrow looked good. He connected on that bomb to Jamar Chase. He looked more like Joe Burrow. And yeah, you got to say the Cardinals defense isn't very good, so that's part of it. Let's see what happens against Seattle. Again, not a great defense, but a little better than Arizona. Especially their secondary is solid. So, we'll see what happens in that. But Joe Burrow for a week here, he's the matchup MVP, 26.55. Then the rest of Andrew's team, just quality, solid performances. Madison and Bijan were not really great, but they both had touchdowns to save their days. Hollywood Brown, he's been awesome. Wide receiver 12, between 16 and 18 points, 4 straight weeks. Any fears of Josh Dobbs killing his value have been completely off base. Darren Waller finally had a big game, 8 for 86. And then, you got to give Andrew props here. Best start of the week. Josh Reynolds, he plugged him in for Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he got 17.6 out of it. So this was a well-managed week by Andrew, which is not something that we often get to say. And it got him a couple of wins. So are you feeling good? Are you happy for the man?
No. I want to see him come last. His team, in my mind, shouldn't be as bad as it was.
Yeah.
They will only improve. He needs another running back. He needs a better running back than Madison.
Mm-hmm.
No, I want to see him just implode. I want to see him on Dr. Phil. I want to see him hold Chase Yarns. I don't know.
You want to see him putting out like vile social media posts, trashing the people in his life?
I want to see him crack. But he
well,
will.
And God damn you for doing that, because the goal was
I realized
this now has to be unlisted.
I know. I threw a name drop there.
Damn it.
I name dropped.
We were doing so good. Can't get through one of these things without somebody, either me or one of these.
I had it in my mind and everything. I said, I'll keep it clean. But
one of these people in the league, man. It's just always something.
You need to get
Andrew.
Peter.
Yeah, exactly. Peter will bring sanity back to this program.
Maybe he'll give a Hail Hitler at the end, but that's it.
Yeah, and that would do it, right? See, it's amazing how quickly it can happen. And then it's unlisted and no one ever knows it exists except for us and whoever we send it to. If anybody does that, I don't know why anybody would.
I send it to everyone.
See, you know what and the reason I said what I said was because I've been noticing like 25, 30 views, and it's like, well, who the fuck is watching this?
I actually have never sent this to anyone, but I have noticed there's been more than 12 views.
Yes. So who are these additional people? I don't want to know. I really don't want to know, but I think it's an interesting mystery. You like Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated?
I was a big fan growing up. Still am.
Scooby-Doo Zombie Island is a legitimately good film, and for anybody who hasn't watched it, you don't even need to be a fan of the franchise. Do yourself a favor and watch Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. However, do not, under any circumstances, watch the sequel that came out within the last couple of years, because that is an abomination, and shame on them for what they did with that. That was a money grab, and just, it makes me sick what they did. They ruined a great thing.
I'm not familiar with that one. Was that the one that's called Scoob?
No, that's a different thing.
Oh, Yeah, I'm not familiar, but
You're not yeah, you don't know. You don't know. All right, so
uh,
Andrew, we're mixed
we're
feelings
happy.
on you.
We're happy for you to get on the board, but hope you burn.
Yeah, it's time to go back to losing next week. Uh Horvath, he's screwed.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh because he lost Chubb. Ramondre Stevenson has just been ruined by a combination of no line. He doesn't look good. Like he doesn't look elusive. And the big thing that has destroyed his value, what the hell happened to the pass catching? Like that's what was so huge for him last year was the pass catching. Now he's got 6 combined receptions over the last 4 games, 6 catches for 23 yards over the last 4 games. What happened there? I don't
Yeah,
know.
nothing in this past game.
And it's just it makes no sense because it's not like they have anybody else who can take targets. And when you have no line, you would think that they would be wanting to check it down, wanting to get it out quick to him. They're New England, nothing they're doing is logical. But see, this is one of the issues. You could take a good player in a bad offense and it could just turn out so bad. Uh DeAndre Swift was good again. That's another one I was just dead wrong on. He's been great. Cooper Kupp looked fucking awesome in his return. You got to be thrilled if you're Horvath. He he played like every snap, 12 targets. He looked like
Over
Cooper Kupp.
100 yards.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to feel real good. Debo Samuel, it is what it is. This is if you own any 49er that isn't McCaffrey, you just kind of have to accept that they're going to take turns. And one week it's going to be Debo. One week it's going to be last night it was Kittle. Next week it might be Ayuk. It's going to be McCaffrey and one of those guys every week. Very rarely has it been 3 of the 4 hitting on the same week. But you keep putting Debo out there because you know he's capable of going off any given game. Crazy thing for Horvath is he got good production out of randoms. Like, Logan Thomas goes for 20.7.
I thought Andrew was destined to go 0-10 right
After
after that
that.
Thursday night game.
And I think Andrew thought the same.
It's a
Russell
shame.
Wilson was solid. He's the quarterback 8. He's just been pretty good this year. For fantasy, he's been not good for real life. DeAndre Hopkins, he was good against the Colts' horrific secondary. See what happens next week against Baltimore. I'm not really buying it, but it was at least nice to see that he's capable of that. And then, yeah, like the bench, Jordan Addison had a good bounce back. And now with Jefferson out, Addison could be pretty nice to have for a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Horvath's team is kind of, unless Ramondre Stevenson gets going, he's kind of screwed. And he's 2-8 now. And those 3 teams that are 2-8 or worse, they have almost no chance of making the playoffs. You would have to go on a hell of a run. But and we'll see. It's going to have to be Cup and Samuel most likely. All
And
right, I guess. What was that?
to carry him to relevance, yeah. Gonna come down to Cup. He's gonna have to do what he did when I had him 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, and he's Cup could have some monster games that could win Horvath weeks. So none of the teams in our league, like everyone in the league, is good enough to have a monster week at any time. So uh, I just 2-8's a deep hole, and I don't think the team is good enough to overcome it. But
Yeah.
regardless, we'll do ours now.
Okay.
I win 121.47 to 116.97.
Good show.
Matchup MVP Diggs. Really it was Montgomery. Yeah, it was Montgomery. 20.9. He had that long touchdown run. He could
Yeah,
have had a bigger day. It was
how
like
long was
42,
that?
43.
Yeah. And that was to start the 1 o'clock games. That was on their first drive, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was real early on.
And then they fucked on him by giving it to Josh Reynolds and then Goff.
Yeah, Goff snuck one in, and Craig Reynolds, you mean to say?
Craig Reynolds. No, I
Yeah,
think didn't Josh Reynolds get a 1 yard catch?
well, yeah, yeah. Reynolds had the 1 yard catch. Goff had like a 1 yard sneak. Craig Reynolds had a 5 yard touchdown run in garbage time.
And I was correct. I was correct on the Josh.
Yeah, you were. I'm an idiot and a
But
horrible person.
how are you feeling about your team?
I mean, I don't think I have the best team, but guess what? The best team doesn't win in this league. So I'm happy I don't have the best team. I do lead in points scored still. My team's been extremely high floor. I've yet to score under 118 in any week. To get 121 this week with Metcalf and Herbert out was pretty damn good to see. I think Montgomery is I think he's got staying power. I don't think he's going to go away.
No, I think he's the guy there.
I, and
Like
anybody, he could break his leg next week, and then of course he won't have staying power then. But you know, barring injury, I think David Montgomery is going to be a low end running back one, high end running back two at this point. Diggs and Brown are the lifeblood of the team. I have the utmost confidence in them. Metcalf, he is what he is. He's yet to really explode, but he's going to have some games. Herbert's
well,
been great, and the X factor for my team ends up being Mostert, and I don't know how I feel about that. I think I will say there's no chance I can say this with almost 100% confidence. Achan and his build, there's no chance he becomes a workhorse. Achan's not going to become a guy getting 20 to 25 touches.
no. How many carries did he have in this past game? About 10.
Well, he got banged up late. They're doing like an MRI or something on him. So far, Achan's touches per game 22, 11, and 12. And
He's been unreal.
he's
What are
unbelievable. I mean,
he running back 3?
yeah, Mostert is running back 2, and Achan is running back 3. It's hilarious. Yeah, the guy's averaging like 11 and a half a carry. I mean, he's basically been the best player in the NFL this year. No joke. Since he's been on the field, he's essentially been the best player in the NFL. Obviously, what he's doing isn't sustainable. I mean, unless he's a god, which I choose to believe he's not. So, it's going to come down. But yeah, he's a freak. He freaks speed and amazing scheme, amazing offense. They're basically the poor man's 49ers. And
They got the right coach for that. They got the
yeah,
right coach.
yes, they do. So, yeah, I mean, you got to be thrilled if you have HN, which we haven't gotten to that matchup yet with Mecca. But Yeah, I think with Mostert, like I think his 10 to 15 touches per game is pretty safe. And I actually kind of like what I said with Kyron Williams and Sam. I'm good with it because if Mostert was getting 20 touches a game, there was no shot he would stay healthy. There's just no chance. So 10 to 15 gives him a better chance of staying healthy. And I think he's good enough and that offense is good enough for that to keep him as a running back too. And that's probably going to determine my season. Tight end is what it is. I expect nothing out of that position, but with the team I have, I don't really need that much out of it.
Very
We'll,
true. Very true. I
we'll,
like how you were shitting on Tyler Higbee for the first couple weeks, and then after I
mm,
drafted, he had his best game,
mm-hmm.
and then you bought into him, and
Oh,
then
I
he's
didn't buy it. I didn't believe me. I didn't buy into him. I didn't think he was going to have a great game. I have no tight end.
yeah.
I mean,
You have Hunter Henry, who was the best for the first 2 weeks,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
zero. I think he had what, 2 targets this
yeah.
past
And
week.
the sad thing is that he's a good player, and he's unfortunately rotting in New England with the rest of those guys. So yeah, tight ends a mess, and Miles Sanders is a mess.
Yeah,
But
no, I didn't want him when we drafted, and
no.
showing that I don't know how is he getting the carries though? Or no,
Well,
7 carries.
they've gotten blown out, so they can't run. They got to abandon the run, and he's absolutely not healthy. I mean, he hasn't been practicing, and now you see what he's doing. Like that's another one of those just inept organizations. But regardless, yeah, running back three is a big issue for me, and tight end, and we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have the best team in the league, but
You don't
I
want the
think
best team.
you don't want the best team. You don't want to be the best team. Best team, bad thing happens to you.
Yeah.
I just want to get a bye. I want to get a bye. I'm off to a good start. Do I think it continues? No. I think just like Devon Achan, I'm due for some regression. But you start 9-1, you put yourself in a pretty damn good spot. Okay. You lost. You really shouldn't have lost. I really thought I was going to go 0-2.
I believe it was at 99%. Not 99, but it was like 94% I won at
And
halftime of that game.
and let's remember that was with you were missing 4 points. ESPN needed to give you 4 points back. So if those were on there, it probably would have been 99.
Yeah. And yeah, Dak's horrible. The
Yeah,
Cowboys,
yeah. I don't
I was
my thoughts on this. I have no idea why you started him against San Francisco.
that's my quarterback, and I will continue to start him
Yep,
unless if he puts up under 18 points against the Chargers this upcoming week, he will be on waivers. He will be available.
yeah, week 7 you can't start him because he's on bye.
Um,
Well, you could.
I
Could
might.
start him. You could do it. Hey, anybody could do
I'll take
anything they want.
I'll take the fine.
Yeah,
But
hey,
yeah,
you do you.
it was
But yeah, he's the quarterback 21 now. He's averaging 13.9 per game, and I guess you're okay with that.
no, not cool with them. But I'll ride with them. I like Dak. I like CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb's could could do something. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on. I don't really understand why that connection has been so off this year, but
Um,
I think they're missing Kellen Moore. I really think that was an underrated thing. Mike
it's gonna
McCarthy
be
is calling the plays now. That's not a good thing. Mike McCarthy is a known idiot. So
uh,
I think they're missing Kellen Moore. But anyway, we're gonna move past Dak. Rest of your team was fine.
I don't think
Disappointment.
so.
Well,
Disappointment. Olave the last 2 weeks has been. I got lucky with him getting in the end zone, his first touchdown of the year
for sure,
to get 9 points.
for sure. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I'm with you. Olave 10.6 over the last 2 weeks combined. That's inexcusable, and it's largely Derek Carr's fault.
yeah.
And also, again, like game script is so important in fantasy football, and 34-0 is a disaster when you have a pass catching option in a game. You just can't have that happen.
Yeah.
Tell me if this still works. I'm changing from one AirPod to another. I told people I wasn't going to do this. I was just going to keep using the computer microphone, and I lied.
Yeah, no, the AirPod's working.
Okay.
I was the first time I hopped on the pod after the draft, post draft. I had Zoom downloaded and everything, but I guess it uninstalled it on my computer, and now it won't let me re-download it. So I have you on my phone,
Oh well.
which is horrible. I got locked out. Said retry while downloading it in 25 minutes, so I had to download on the phone. But yeah, no, like my receivers are shot.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's one of the worst wide receiver groups I've ever seen.
but I would say I'm like technically I don't think I'm the deepest at running back, but it's like I have three, technically four if, with Moss,
Hmm.
solid options. So
It's funny. You're always deep at running back somehow.
yeah, so
You're
who
you
knows?
really need you badly. I forgot you even had this guy. You badly need Deontay Johnson to come back and at least be like
Uh,
a low end wide receiver too.
that's what I've been waiting on. So
Yeah, that's important. I forgot you
hopefully,
had him. You did have the yeah, Olave, just to tie a bow on that. It's been disappointing. He's the wide receiver 29. I still think he's a guy who could explode. The talent is off the charts,
yeah,
but
100%. But
it
no,
makes sense to
I
be
hate.
getting
I'll let you go.
it makes sense to be getting frustrated.
Uh, like
Who do
I
you
hate
hate?
to have Michael Thomas on my team too,
Yeah,
because he is my second best wide receiver.
he is. Yeah, and it's hard. And I get it. It's hard to justify starting two Saints wide receivers.
But like, yeah, no, it's bad. So people hit my line. Olave, send me offers for Olave. He's available. Why not? But
Yeah. Hey, do what you got to do.
Zach Moss, Rashad White, those two guys, they're on the market as well.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I would like to like how you told me if I played Michael Thomas over Jahan Dotson, we would have tied
Yeah. Yeah.
because
So
at that
that's
point
the worst sit of the week.
we
Yeah,
would
we
have,
would have.
which is insane because it's hilarious.
Yeah, you put Dotson in kind of last minute, and I was with somebody Thursday night, and I told them I was like, this guy, he definitely put him in just so that he could have somebody to root for Thursday night. Is that why you did that?
I did, but also like Chicago's horrible, so I thought he would have a game,
Hmm.
which in the fourth quarter after Curtis Samuel got his score when the Commanders still had the ball and they were driving to, I think it was a 10-point game at this point. And it was
Yeah.
20-30. Dotson was wide open in the end zone from like 38, 40 yards out. And Sam Howell missed him by throwing it out of bounds by the end zone. Dotson still made a sick one-handed catch.
Yes. Yeah. It was
And
unreal that he.
it's a shame how Sam Howell missed him because that was the difference. Also, I had a Jahan Dotson parlay because I was big on Jahan on
Hmm.
Thursday. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, he's been a disappointment. I thought he would be a solid flex, which he's not.
Oh, I was in on him too. I wanted him, and I don't think it. I don't blame him at all. I think he's awesome. I I think Terry. I keep saying on here every week that like Terry McLaurin. He's dead to me. The situation's that it's not because I think Terry McLaurin is bad. I think he's a great receiver. It's more just like at Washington. It's Washington. They're the most dysfunctional. Nothing good happens to them. Sam Howell is what he is. He threw it 90 times on Thursday night, so his numbers look respectable, but he's nothing great. Bieniemy, yeah, no, that's not working out yet. It's just I blame the organizational, just the sewage that is the Washington franchise for wasting guys like McLaurin and Dotson. But anyway, yeah, that's the worst sit because we would have tied. You would have won. You would have had a second matchup win. Would have been hilarious to have a tie. In
And especially with the decimal points,
oh
that
yeah,
could
it'd
be
be absurd to have a
first
tie.
place behind.
It
But
has not happened since we've gone to decimals.
so that would have been wild. But yeah, no, Dak really fucked me because he was at 9 points at
Yeah,
halftime,
yeah,
and then
yes.
I think he threw for maybe 25 yards and
And
for 2 interceptions.
he had three interceptions.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying in the second half,
Oh yeah,
or did he
yeah.
have three in the second half?
He might have had three in the second. I don't remember. I feel like he had all three in the second half. I think he had like three interceptions in a 5 or 6 pass attempt span.
I know he had back to back on that right before they took out all their starters.
I seem to think it was three in really short succession. And it's
Yeah.
it's brutal for you because it wasted that George Kittle blow up game. And when he
Man,
scored his first one, so I'll just walk you through my thoughts on the matchup. You got that scoop and score touchdown by the Jets defense with like 30 seconds left against Denver.
that's what gave
And
me hope.
oh yeah, I mean when that happened, before that happened, you were in pretty big trouble. You were going to need a monstrous showing from at least two of your
McCaffrey.
three. Yeah. And when that happened, I wasn't even surprised. Like I was just kind of because Russell Wilson is such a joke these days. I was expecting something awful to happen there, and when it happened, I was like, "Well, damn, um, like I'm probably going to lose now." And when Kittle scored his first one, I immediately knew this is going to be one of those nights for Kittle.
Yeah,
Like you can just tell it. They have nights where it's crazy. They clearly designed a couple that second play that went for the long
that second
touchdown.
play was filthy.
It was
I think the
amazing.
Lions did something of that nature,
They did. They did.
and they but yeah, no, like it was.
Yeah. No, Laporta's second touchdown was very similar. You're right. And I wasn't even mad because look, I'm here, I'm fucking 7-1. I've had some kind of fluky stuff with Montgomery and Mostert. Like I gotta realize fantasy's been pretty good to me so far this year. And so I was like, well, probably gonna go 0-2. It is what it is. And then when Kittle scored that third one, I was like, wow, like damn, this is done. I completely lost. Like you said, it was like 95%. Um, and then your team did nothing from that point on.
I
It it,
know,
it
and
lost points
it lost points. It was going to come down to the McCaffrey goal line touchdown
that went
for
to
the second one that went for the
use
win
chick.
back to use check, which
Yeah, yeah.
I called that was going to happen to
You're
Nicole.
you're Nostradamus.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Derek Gore, so
I remember been thinking about that. I thought
I,
about that.
I believe he's on the Commanders now, so he might pop off.
They should give him some touches.
But yeah, no, my team's mid. I
Yeah,
have the
your team is the definition of mediocrity.
so I need a receiver, and
You do,
I do kind of regret trading Jacobs, but
as you should.
but I I only had a whatever week from Rashad White. Maybe he pops off. Hopefully,
Who
Cam
knows, man?
Akers. Cam Akers, I do believe, will take over for that Vikings backfield. Madison's horrible.
Madison is so bad.
I don't know if you saw like close to the end of that game, but Kirk Cousins checked down to him and he essentially had a 30-yard open space run to the end zone and he
Mhm.
dropped the pass
He's horrendous.
with no one around him.
Yeah,
So
something's got to happen there, but
that's the only reason why I'm holding on to Akers because he's playing like 25% of the snaps at
mhm.
the and he's only been there 2 weeks, so he could end up becoming the
Couple
50.
more things. McCaffrey disappointing, but what can you do? I mean,
I'm fine with it. This was the
when
week.
when 14 points is like a colossal disappointment, you know that you're otherworldly.
Yeah, well,
Pacheco, he got back in the end zone. He's running back 12 now,
it was disappointing because he opened up the game with the touchdown and
and
like
then did
20 some
basically nothing.
yards
Yeah,
and then nothing.
yeah.
So I was expecting at least like 18 points from him.
And I do just want to say, I said on here, I don't remember I predicted a Tyler Boyd stat line. I think I said something obnoxious like 9 catches for 50 yards.
Yeah, but 6 for 40 is very it equals out to that.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be some bullshit like that. He was going to PPR his way
Which
to decent.
he scored a touchdown that got taken away.
I
I
I
don't
think
know.
I did see that. I believe I did see that. Yes. Yes, I did.
So that there's a lot of factors in our matchup
Oh yeah.
that had me lose, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
But
well, it's tough times out there for you.
tough
And I just
times.
want to
I
I
got
want to
Tyler
pat
Conklin.
myself on the yeah, you got Tyler Conklin. He's going to do amazing things. Tight end 18. His ceiling of 10. Uh I put in fucking Wandale Robinson and it won me the matchup.
Yeah,
Starting Wandale Robinson over Miles Sanders won me the matchup because Wandale had his 5 for 18. Great times.
great times.
Fun guy to put in. Okay, one more matchup and it's Dylan, aka I don't care.
He
118
does.
point.
He
He
doesn't give
doesn't
a fuck.
he doesn't. He doesn't care. 118.29 to 76.38. And Mecca, this is really just a wild thing because his scores this year now 96, 164, 108, 161, 76. Him and Larar have been the same thing. They've each had 2 monster weeks and 3 just horrendous ones. What are you drinking there?
Water, water.
That's very healthy of you.
I love soda.
I don't.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
That's a great joke.
But yeah, no,
Uh,
Mecha's team has been hit or miss.
yeah, and we're gonna do Dylan first because he won. He earned that right. His team was essentially 3 guys.
Yeah,
DJ Moore scored
Mahomes.
like 40% of his points as the matchup MVP.
His
I
third
mean,
highest scorer was Kaimi Fairbairn.
yes, yes. But yeah, I mean DJ Moore, like, look, anybody who's ever watched DJ Moore knows he's good. He's always been good. He's just been rotting in garbage conditions. And so my whole thought, and I had DJ Moore last year, and it was infuriating because he was like unusable early on. I will say he was great in the fantasy playoffs. He was fucking huge, actually. But anyway, my thoughts with DJ Moore this year were it's going to be more of the same. Moore is going to have more of the same. Isn't that a good one from me? No, it's not. Because bad offense. You know, Justin Fields is not the best passer of the football. He has been the last 2 weeks, but anyway. But you know, maybe I was wrong about that. Maybe DJ Moore is going to work out because he's getting a little bit. He's getting more of a red zone target share. He's never been a touchdown guy. He's got 5 touchdowns through 5 weeks now. I gotta see what's his career high in touchdowns. Like, I'd be shocked if he has more than like 6 or 7 in any season.
I
Let's
want to say
see.
maybe the most was 8.
He had 7 last year. His touchdown totals 2, 4, 4, 4, 7. And he's already got 5 this year. So I mean that's massive. There's nothing else you could say other than that's huge. If he's going to score 10 to 12 touchdowns this year like he's on pace for, well he's on pace for 17, but let's say he scores 10 to 12 touchdowns. It's going to be a big deal. Do I think I would almost guarantee there are going to be some terrible games from him on days where Fields throws for like 150 yards, but the last 2 weeks it's been incredibly good for DJ Moore, and this was just a ridiculous performance. And Dylan, he didn't really need it because Mecca's team was so bad, but Mahomes has been, let's get into that. He's been disappointing. And I think
Very
he's
much
going to be
so.
I think he's going to be perfectly fine. But like, damn, he's the quarterback 7. And actually, this is if you're Dylan, you got to feel really good because Mahomes has been disappointing. Eckler has barely played, and he's still 6-4. Those were his first 2 picks,
Yeah.
and he hasn't gotten all that much out of them compared to what you expected. Devontae Smith, horrible game, and crazy. He's all the way down to wide receiver 25 now. I'm sure he'll bounce back soon, but said it before. When you have the number 2 in an offense, you have to just accept that there are going to be some of these games. Evan Ingram had his worst game of the season. Brandon Ayuk, man, he had that like 40-yard touchdown get called back.
Yeah. It was a shame.
It was.
I ended up losing in my other league because of 49ers defense by a point because they sacked Cooper Rush at the end of the game.
Yeah, I love that.
But I had Ayuk playing, and that fucked me. But yeah, no, Dylan's team has been consistent.
Yeah, it's good. And he's going to get Eckler back. I think right now there's a pretty clear top 4 of, in any order you want to put them in, me, Sam, Nordiff, Dylan.
Yeah.
And I think that's the top tier of the league through 5 weeks. And Dylan's going to get Walker and Eckler back in his lineup next week. And DJ Moore, I'm going to do what Andrew did last week. Andrew last week said 27.1 is going to be his best game of the season. And then Moore scored like 27 in the first quarter. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that 49 is going to be DJ Moore's best game of the season. I'm taking a real risk there. But we'll move over now because I think Mecca's team is maybe the most interesting to talk about in the league.
100%. It's definitely, in my opinion, the best overall looking team.
So it's the deepest team. Like he has the most guys. I mean, he doesn't have a guy on roster that you would feel uncomfortable starting.
Yeah. Like even
Except
Tyjae Spears, I would be be fine with throwing at flex.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Jalen Warren. He's a slightly worse version of Jalen Warren, where he's going to get a certain amount of the snaps, and he's a pretty decent player, and he could get you in a pinch maybe 8 or so points. And this week he had the touchdown, which made for an even bigger day. But yeah, I mean, this is a very deep team. My whole thing with Mecca, and there were some real old guys on this team. Like Henry's old, Aaron Jones is old, Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, Tyler Lockett, a bunch of old guys. And some of them have worked out. Evans has worked out great. Devontae Adams has been pretty damn good. He wasn't good tonight, but he's been pretty damn good. But like Henry, he really has not worked out. A couple of good games. Henry's basically been like Mecca's team. Sometimes great, sometimes shit. Aaron Jones, he's not healthy, so he's done nothing since week 1. That's really hurt. And Lockett hasn't been very good. So some of those older guys haven't worked out. And the other thing with Mecca is twice now he's had Anthony Richardson go out early on him. And it's just utterly screwed him. It wouldn't have changed anything this week, but still, like, it could matter for end of season points. If you're looking for like a point scored tiebreaker,
That could definitely fuck him.
like he missed out on maybe 40 points from Anthony Richardson at this point. But yeah, and you know what I'll say? It's not great that he's going to have to lean on Geno Smith now because he hasn't looked very good. And that's got to be Mecca's quarterback now, unless he has the capability to trade for a quarterback if he really wants to. But if he decides to stick with Geno, then you got to hope he plays better than he has so far. The big thing, it's funny, Mecca's 2 highest scorers were his 2 waiver ads.
Puka and Devon Achane, yeah, no.
Achan.
Achan, my bad. I forgot.
Yeah, you went with the Dolphins media guide pronunciation.
I'm
Those
uncultured.
idiots. Yeah, we all are.
There
Except for
was
Andrew is a very cultured man. That's what he said.
he's very racist. I don't know where that came from.
Isn't that interesting how that happened?
How he became a skinhead? Yeah,
It's pretty fucked.
he's super fucked. But that's Andrew for you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Puka
no, the two waiver pickups of the year already,
and Sam Laporte is in there as well.
and Thielen, I guess. But Puka is
Yeah,
the guy.
Jesus. Yeah,
Puka is the
Puka
one.
20 or more points in 4 out of 5 games. And in the one game he didn't, he should have ended up with 18.2, but Stafford underthrew him on what would have been like a walk-in touchdown. And great sign if you're Mecca that Cup comes back, plays all those snaps, and Puka still got 11 targets. I mean, it seems like those two can coexist. Again, just like with Devontae Smith, there are going to be some down games with him being the number 2. But it's just really encouraging that first week back of Cup, he still put up those big numbers. And yeah, we'll see with Achane with this knee thing. Because Mecca's going to need him next week. Jones is on bye. Herbert is
going to be out for a week or 2.
Yeah, he's out. So he kind of needs Achane, and
he's got a year of doing it.
Yeah, that's a great guy to have on your team. And it's a must-win matchup for Mecca against Horvath. Absolute must-win, and important probably to go 2-0 too, because he's 4-6 now. He's got the 4th worst record in the league. Yeah, we'll see. He's got to piece some things together and get some more consistency from guys because it's not been a fun ride. And you could have the deepest team and not have the best team. There was a year where I was absolutely the deepest team. I was not the best team because I didn't have the best starting nine. You only start nine. You have 14 good players. Great. You have to have the best nine on a given week. That's all that matters. And Mecca hasn't been getting that yet. Um, so the good news for him is that he's only 2 out of first in his division because that division's just kind of uh, cannibalized itself, and Peter leads it at 6-4. All
Yeah,
right, well,
me and Pete next week. That's gonna be a big matchup, and
yeah,
for me.
we got some really good and important ones. Like Sam Larar is a huge matchup for Larar. Uh, Nordiff Dillon, very good matchup. Yeah, you against Peter, that's massive. Really is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got some good ones coming up in week 6, and let's do power rankings. You go first.
Where I would rank people.
Yeah, just give your power rankings, and you do it however you want.
I would go either you or Nordift at 1 and
Okay.
2. Uh, I I would have to put Sam up there at 3.
Hmm.
Like, I'm looking at yours right now,
Oh, what
and
the fuck? Why would you do that?
I see it, but I'm
Why would you
not
cloud your
going based
thoughts
off
with that?
that. I would put Mecha at 4 in the
Yeah,
power
I
rank.
don't see how you could do that.
I'm just throwing them in there at 4. Got to put Dylan
Okay.
at 5.
Okay.
I would put me or Peter at 6.
Hmm. And the other at 7.
The other at 7. Lohan at 8. Then the bottom 4. Who?
Larard.
I would say, yeah, Larar at 8.
No, you put Lohan at 8.
All right, I meant Larar at 8.
Okay.
Then Lohan.
Hmm.
I guess I would put Andrew, and then Klingman, then Horv.
Okay.
Horv at the bottom.
Yeah, mine very similar except for not having Mecca anywhere near where you did. Me, Nordiff, Sam, Dylan. That I already said. I think that's the top tier, and I think we're pretty interchangeable. Uh, then that middle tier: Peter, you, Larar, Mecca, Lohan. I think that's pretty interchangeable, to be honest, from 5 through 9. And then Andrew, Horvath, Colin. So yeah, things are bunched up. You got, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 teams are between 4-6 and 6-4. So it's going to be wild the next few weeks. Standings are going to change quite a bit. Teams like Andrew, Horvath, and Colin, you're not out of it yet. It feels like you are because your record looks so bad, but you can make up ground really fast. Like, let's say
Like
one of those
Larar.
teams, exactly like LeBron did. Let's say one of those teams goes 4-0 the next 2 weeks. Like, you're right back in it. Um, so don't give up. Don't give up. Keep in it. Keep on it, I guess is what I meant to say. And you know, hopefully things turn around for folks who it hasn't gone so well for. Record, if everyone played everyone each week, I just want to go over that quickly. Nordiff does lead there. He'd be 44-11. It's pretty damn impressive. Colin is in last. He's 10-45.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrific. Yeah, it's Nordiff, me, Dylan, Sam. So yeah, I've always thought this is really indicative of like where teams actually are. And it usually ends up being pretty damn accurate. So yeah, Nordiff, me, Dylan, Sam, and then it's Larar, Peter, you, Mecca, Lohan, Andrew, Horvath, Colin. And it's just kind of a consistency metric. And the better you are in that, the more consistent your team is. And Nordiff has had the most consistent team so far. So it makes sense that he's first. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm glad we did this now because now I don't have to worry about doing this tomorrow evening.
yeah. Perfect. Do you usually do it at night with everyone else, or have you been
Well, yeah,
changing for the day
no,
for
see
other
the
people?
these people aren't flexible, so we got to do it at a certain time, and it's just I knew you'd be willing to do it now, and I respect you for that. Both of us are like insomniacs, and so we were able to pound this out.
Yeah, this was a long one too. I was
Fucking yeah, yeah.
It's
Fucking
been
Andrew
longer and
said
longer. Andrews was
Andrew
2 hours.
that guy he said he was going to be willing to do his after the Monday night game, and I knew he wouldn't. I knew he was going to flake out, and he did, and he needed it to be done at a convenient time for him.
I don't know.
Is
I want to see him coming last, and I wish we implemented the last place
kicked kicked for a
kick,
year.
kicked for a year.
I mean,
For that thing.
it'd probably do him good to take a year off.
It did you wonders, and
It
what
did, yeah. Since I've
you
come
took up
back,
2 years?
I sat out 2 years, and since I've come back, I've been in the
Made the
top
playoffs.
four every year. I've made two title games.
Yeah, maybe that's what he needs.
You need
Who
to
knows?
what you need is to not take it as seriously, and you need to be able to sit back. And don't get me wrong, I'm still competitive as hell. I want to win, but you got to also realize, like,
You have
there
no control over what happens.
no, yeah, and
Essentially,
you can put yourself. There is skill involved in this. There's a reason the same people do well most years. There is skill. It's like the World Series of poker. Like, yeah, some fluky things happen, but at the end of the day, there's a certain level of skill. Um, but the fluke could determine anything, and every week, so much ridiculous shit happens. But anyway, I do want to say I bought a new uh gum flavor, chewing gum, and
well,
it's black.
can we plug the name of the brand?
Yeah, it's Icebreakers Ice Cubes Black Cherry.
It comes in the little tin, correct? Like
It
a
does, yeah.
cube
Yes, that
box.
is what it looks like. It's not that good.
I believe I've
I
had the cotton candy from them,
Yeah,
but
I would imagine that's not that good either.
you're chewing gum right now?
Yeah, I chew gum.
2 a.m.
It's sugar free.
Okay, okay. Well, I want to thank you for having me on. This was fun.
Yeah, hey, thanks for being
Uh,
here and thanks for being yourself.
I'm always myself, a loser. So,
Wow. Only I
yeah,
get to be self-deprecating on here.
I'm sorry. Sorry for taking it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
yeah, and this upcoming week's going to be a big week for a lot of teams. So,
do you think you're going to win?
no, no, personally, no. I
I
think it's
haven't
going to
looked
come
at
down. It's going to come down to if the Bengals bring T. Higgins back. I
if he
think that's
plays, you
gonna.
think you'll win.
If he plays, I think I lose. If he
Oh,
doesn't
really? Do you
play,
think he's going to have a
I
good game?
no. But like, I think Tyler Boyd's value drops a
Yeah,
little bit. I think
I
he
forgot
has
about
a
him.
better. I think he has a better game if Higgins isn't out there. I think he'll
Well,
put like
yeah.
15 if Higgins doesn't play. I
Okay.
will, because I don't know who
Okay.
I'm going to play at my wide receiver too. I don't even really want to play Olave anymore. He is on the market. Send me offer.
DK
Uh,
Metcalf. DK Metcalf for Olave and Moss.
uh, no, I don't like the Seahawks that much.
Yeah, you have too many shares of Lockett in other leagues.
I do, and
Mm-hmm.
he made me lose the one week when the week that Mecca beat Sam. I think last week by the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, send me offers. Hit my line. I'm down to trade.
Olave's available. Moss is available. Michael
Kittle,
Thomas is available.
there, Kittle's available.
Dak
McCaffrey.
Prescott is
Send me an
available.
offer for McCaffrey. Maybe I'll trade him. Who knows? The
Okay.
heart of my team. So,
Yeah.
but thank you for having me on, and can't wait to see Andrew burn. So,
Wow. Burn him at the stake.
uh,
You
just
ever
like
heard
his
of you ever heard of Vlad the Impaler?
no, no,
Look
but
him
that's
up.
a, okay.
Look, he was a bad guy. He was actually, I mean, probably top five worst humans of all time. He was horrific.
Was he a serial killer?
Yeah, I mean, he killed like millions of people in medieval times. So yeah, I'd say he
Okay.
was. I'd say he was a serial killer. Yeah,
Okay, Vlad the Impaler.
yeah, not
Yeah,
a good guy.
never heard of him.
Vlad Dracula, not a good person. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna do it for this week 5 recap. Week 6 is gonna be done next week. Uh, I'll probably be alone. Um, so then
Also,
Peter,
a little. I
go
don't know
ahead.
if this. I don't know if this will make the difference in the pod, but I think maybe push it back a day or two. I think it would be nice to see like if there's a big like who people are picking up on waivers.
Hmm.
Maybe a little segment in there about that, but who knows?
It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. That's the issue. I would love to do it on Wednesday. I can't do it Wednesday nights.
Understandable. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
no,
not
it's
mad,
serious.
but
I'm with you. I would rather do it Wednesday too. I used to do it on Wednesday, but it doesn't work anymore. So if I didn't have to have people on, I would do it at fucking 4 a.m. like I used to do it. But now I got to have people on. I got to be like a semi-functioning, normal, sane human being, unless I'm with you, of course, and we could do it at 2 a.m. But yeah, that's the issue. Okay, we got to stop.
yeah, it's been 2 hours.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't quite
Go.
been that long, but it's like
Yeah,
140.
140. I
Yeah,
think it was at what 12:11.
yeah. Who knows? Doesn't Nothing matters anymore.
It doesn't. I gotta head over to Rivers Casino right now, so I gotta run.
Oh yeah, have a great time there. I'm sure it's gonna go great for you.
Yeah. All right. Well, hope you have a great night, and thanks for whipping my ass this week. So.
Look at the dog right now. Did you see that? The dog's eyes were like closed for a while. That was funny.
I've been wondering this entire time if it's you blinking or just that's just the character taking over.
So what it does is it has my head movement and mouth movement.
Stick out your tongue. Yeah, you can't tell. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thanks for having me on, and have a good one.
Yeah, have a great time. And that's gonna do it. And we'll be back in a week. Goodbye.